do our mailbag question.
Let's get to the mailbag pick of the day. And I actually saw DNVR did a thing today where they had like their pie in the sky wish list and then like realistic and then like maybe we'll do that on like a random
fun.
Tuesday or something where we actually put thought into it.
Right.
But thanks for the question, Flyers fan 39, and at least got my thought, my head jogging. He says, if you could pick one thing for Danny Briere to absolutely nail this offseason, what is it? For example, landing a top center, maximizing draft position, offloading questionable contracts. What would you like to see Danny Briere? If he nails one thing, what would you like to see it be?
This was tough because all three of those, I think, are extremely important, obviously, to the future of the team. If I had to pick one of them, I think it's offloading questionable contracts.
Really?
Because I think that if he's able to do that, that really sets them up for the future moving forward to have a lot more flexibility, to have the ability to maybe sign somebody in free agency in the next couple of summers. Also, you know, getting rid of players that aren't good, also always a good thing. I just think that that one has the opportunity to have like the greatest overall impact on the way that the team can be shaped going forward.
So when you say offloading bad contracts, like the one that jumps to mind immediately for me is Risto.
Yeah.
So that, because like, yeah, you could say that it would be cool if they didn't have the last year of Cam Atkinson's contract, but it's just one more year.
Yeah,
like it's not really killing them. It wouldn't kill them if Cam Atkinson spends the final year of his NHL career on that contract with Philadelphia as the team's regular healthy scratch. Wouldn't be great.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing like Risto is the one that you really have in mind.
I'm thinking more the long-term one. So like Risto is the obvious one. Obviously, if they were able to get rid of Couturier, which I know that they can't. But I mean, like, if by some magic he was able to, that would be awesome for the team. I do think that, like, I know you guys talked about Sealer yesterday. I still hate that contract. It's too long. I mean, like, I know he's fine and it's not that big of a deal. I just wish it were 2 years shorter. But
I think it's about a year too long.
Yeah.
But you had to give it to him, I guess, because that's how he's going to sign.
I get it. But yeah, I just think that, like, giving yourself a little bit more flexibility. Like, you have an article about their cap situation, like looking worse on paper than it actually is. Yeah, which is fair. But I just think giving themselves a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of space, getting rid of players that aren't particularly great that you have locked up for way too long, like, none of it's bad.
I do agree with you that if, like, what would get people the most, maybe not even people, what would get the online contingent of Flyers fans the most excited about the offseason, it very well might be if Danny Briere found a way to both move Rasmus Ristolainen and Sean Couturier without taking back a lot of money.
Right, yeah.
Like, that would get people jacked.
Which would be magic.
It would be magic. I don't think it's possible, but you're right. That would get people online, especially the most excited. I think Risto could be traded. I think it would be tough because
it's trickier now
because the injuries and whatnot. But I think there are teams that would be interested in him. Couturier is the one where, and I still really like Sean Couturier, the player. I would like them to find a way to make it work where he comes back next year and is the guy from the first half, and he smooths everything out with Torts and is the captain through the rest of the decade. That'd be great. But I cannot deny that contract is scary as hell. Yeah. And if you can find a way out of it in some way, especially if it doesn't come with like taking back another guy who's making $9 million a year, that would be a very good thing for the Flyers' long-term rebuild plan. However, if I'm answering this question, I think my answer would be getting a top center or getting a guy who I think could be a top, like a 1C, because it's just such a glaring hole in their organization.
That's true.
And also, there's the fact, and we talked about this on shows, where I'm of the opinion that, like, I don't think they need to race to get Michkov a center, but I think at some point they need to get him a center.
Yeah.
And if there's if there's a chance that he's going to be here in October, it would be real cool if his center was not Morgan Frost or whatever is left of Sean Couturier. It would be real cool if that was Trevor Zegras
or Ryan Paley.
or Ryan Paley. Like, to me, if the Flyers were to end this offseason and I'm not even saying like necessarily in a trade, if they draft Berkeley Catton, I will be freaking jacked. and I'd be like, okay, this makes me feel a lot better. I don't know if he can be the first line center. I don't know if he can be a center at the NHL level, but you know what? It gives them a guy who could be. It gives them a path to having that 1C that I think they need. If they trade for Zegras, same thing. Is it possible that he's never a true 1C, that he's always kind of in that like offensive 2C, like a better version of Morgan Frost type of guy? Yeah, it's possible. But suddenly I can envision a path where they have that 90-point-a-year first-line center. That, I think, to me, would be, if I could choose one thing that Danny pulls off this summer, it's give me a path to getting that first-line center by having someone in the organization that I can look at and say, that might be the guy. Right now, they don't have anyone in the organization, unless you are like the biggest Morgan Frost fan in existence that possibly has that upside.
And
Ryan Poehling, baby.
Yeah. To that point, like, I don't know if it's a top center. I don't know if it's a defenseman. I just know they need dudes. Like, they also need really good depth players, because they don't have a ton of, like, by depth, I mean, like, second line guys. It's not just, like, second pair guys. Maximizing of the players, of the options that Flyers Fan 39 gave us, I would say maximizing draft position, because I want to take advantage of what they have right now. What they have right now is a veteran like a Scott Laughton, who teams might value above his production because of some intangible stuff that, honestly, I know these intangibles and the locker room culture, all this stuff is important. I just don't, like, how many times over the last, in his tenure have we been like, yeah, locker room's no good, team quit? Like, I don't know. I would like to move on for a number of reasons. One of them is change for the sake of change. I do want that. But it's because, like, you know what? Owen Tippett's never going to become a leader if there's dudes ahead of him that he always defers to. Like, and Owen Tippett's just the example, but it could be anybody. And I do want to clear out where we can. You can't get rid of Sanheim. You can't get rid of Couturier. Scott Laughton, Rasmus Ristolainen, these are dudes you can move on from in some fashion that will open up not just roster spots, but roles in the locker room for younger guys who need that responsibility if this team is going to be good, great 5 years from now. That's got to be the goal. So I maximize draft position and change for the sake of change are my two answers to this question here.
I like it.
We all silly like the mayor.